Excuse the mic quality. I'm using my Steam Rift S microphone. Um, I've been working heavily on my project for the past few days. I missed doing a recording in between what was my previous video and now, and I'll quickly go over everything that I've been working on so far. This video, not only that, just in general, updates on my current thought process on a lot of things. As for now, I've been resorting to finding new ways to go about things due to time. I haven't been able to work on things the way that I want to 100%. But I'd say with what I have resorted to doing, at least for today, I'm happy with what I have. The only thing right now that's annoying me is whenever I've worked on things that's worked, later on when I work on something else, all of a sudden that original thing breaks, which I'll go and mention when I test my game out. Okay, well, we're in our project. As you can see, we've been adding some things here and there, some little decoration. We got a little objective and a description in regards to what does what. I've been slowly fixing this problem with the hands not lining up correctly. Um, it's not perfect, and I'll explain that in a moment with there, but it's okay for now with this. It gets messy when I do this again, but I'll keep tweaking the constraints around, seeing if I can find a proper fix. But for now, this is as best as I can get it. Anyway, so we go ahead. We have our little options here and there for our different things. This is broken right now. I did have it working where you had this extra little button here where when you press it, it would toggle between having a vignette or not. And what I mean by that is if it's on, when we're moving, a vignette is around our screen, allowing it to help with the accessibility. Of course, we have our fading out system for accessibility, but I have plans for other things too. One idea that I possibly have is to do with color blindness, adding settings on the menu to toggle between different colorblind settings by simply just toggling the post processing to do that. Of course, those are things to work on. Um, a few more other general things, like of course originally we still have our teleporting for the small character that helps with accessibility on regards to the small character. As the large guy, he doesn't have the teleporting. It's not been important to implement into the big one. Um, and of course, you can sit down play. The height is still just fine enough to reach these things, so you can sit down if need be. One of the things that was a possible thing would be to re implement snap turning for the camera instead of the smooth turning that I have now. That comes down to if I enable it as well, so I'll probably be adding another option in here. Um, Yes, so things I've been working on. So these end islands, uh, I've gone ahead and added a little script to make these automatically face the one that it's connected to allow it to be easier for me to deal with making sure that when you grab it, it's at that location. Because otherwise, if it was facing this way, that would just teleport up there. So if I grab this, we can see now it's grabbing that one there perfectly instead of zipping things around.
It was at this point where my VR headset's microphone completely messed up, so I'm going to be trying to ad lib over what I said in that video, but in my personal mic. Another thing I sorted out is the zooming in and out, so now you can kind of see the island moving further or closer away. Another thing that you'll notice that I will go ahead and explain in a moment, and there's the fade out, but as you'll notice, there's an arrow right at the spawn point. So whenever the player is playing as the giant, they'll be seeing a giant arrow to indicate where the start of the game is to help them out. The text for the start also does rotate to face the player, but it doesn't rotate in a uh, exact way. It just rotates the Z rotation. So we have the teleporting, which I've showed before, but there was originally a problem with when I was working on the islands, where the teleporting on the moving islands stopped updating the nav mesh, so I couldn't teleport on them. And sometimes in general, I just couldn't teleport them at all. Uh, Turns out, I just changed the collision collision preset of the islands static mesh back to default, and they work again. I'm unsure exactly why block all exactly prevented it from working. I'll I could look into that, but just changing it back to default seems to have not messed anything else up, so everything's fine with the it back to being like that now. And as you can see, it works, and that's also considering the fact that I already moved the island. And over here we have the puzzles, and of course you can see that I've been working on this. So if I drop this cube on this pressure plate, it goes down and increments the puzzle count. And one of the things I've been working on recently is updating the whole puzzle system in general for the end goal. So hopefully completing all the puzzles does actually work properly to reaching the end. Uh, there was a problem with the moving islands that whenever you grabbed them, they would despawn the puzzles and respawn them. And of course, that's not good because, well, it would then make you have to redo the event. So, what I'm going to do for now is because of time, I've completely had to scrap the entire um, concept that you can move those puzzle islands. So all the blueprints I made for the for the mini control island to despawn and respawn the puzzles and stuff, they're all pointless now. Uh, so for now, I'm going to just have to stop with that and just make it so you can control blank islands, which is what is shown in the demo. So again, I'll go ahead. I'll continue the video the way it was. Also, there's currently another thing that's annoying me is that when you're moving the islands over another island and they have a puzzle on it, like the cube goes ahead and gets pushed. So I need to go ahead and change it around a bit, possibly to disable the cube from colliding with the islands, perhaps. Except that would cause other problems, so I won't do that. Um, I'll have a go and think about what I can fix. Uh, but for now, that's just a general annoyance. I might do something as simple as the teleporting that I have with the player. I might change it around so that it could also detect the cubes and respawn them back. There's a lot of options for me to do. So I'll go about trying them out. And again, speaking of the teleporting, there's currently an annoying bug going around with it where uh, originally, whenever you fall off the island, there's a collision box that detects the player, and if you fall into it, you can go ahead and teleport back to that island spot. But currently, it seems like every time you fall off, you just teleport into the spawn point, which, while okay, is annoying because if you're at the end of the level and you fall, you're going to be back at the start. So, I have a feeling I might know the problem. Uh, like it could be something as stupid as the collision is below the main collision for the respawner um, of the spawn island. But I'll go ahead and I'll keep looking into it. And if I can find a fix, then that's good. That'll be that one of many problems sorted out. And if you see my previous video, you'd know that I started working on a second type of puzzle, the target practice one. And you notice that it's not currently here in this particular video. The reason why is because I still haven't finished the target practice exactly yet, with the ball not exactly colliding with the target just yet. Uh, Once I sort out that, I'll be putting it back in for the final build. But for now, it's not currently there because I needed to make sure that I have a way to test finishing all the puzzles, which is working, of course, now. But of course, like here, I'm gonna reach the end. But if I had managed to complete that other puzzle that didn't have its box launched away, it would have said victory. For now, that's all it does, though. I don't have some sort of scene to swap to, or even the simplest thing as closing the game. Um, I'll probably just do closing the game for now because with all these things I have to do, uh, I don't really think I'll have the time to properly implement a main menu and such. So I'll go ahead and I'll just work on what I have so far. But I do have the I kind of do have the frame to do it in main menu because things like my vignette, I've been adding it into the game instance as as a boolean there, so I can technically, with when if with time, add the vignette into a main menu scene, and it would toggle between either or on that as well. But that's all that, so it doesn't matter for now. Uh, anyway, so back to the original problem of the hand that I was going to mention. Whenever the hand is colliding into the cube, it's not exactly doing its job in being pushed back properly. Uh, and that mostly comes down to how strong I made the connection of the constraint. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'll be going ahead and updating it so I could hopefully lessen the strength, but also still keep some things stronger. Like you saw, whenever I'm moving around, the hands still don't connect to the hands always. So I'm probably gonna find a way to fix that. Likely by changing velocity and not the position, but that depends. I'll go ahead and I'll experiment more, uh, and we'll go from there. But other than that, in terms of things I have left to do with this project, I've simplified things a bit more lately. But the simple idea is I need to finish off fixing these bugs. Once these bugs are fixed, I can then work on the color blindness issue. Um, I'll be adding in the other puzzle into the game, of course. Possibly adding another one if I want to. But as far as I know, that seems to be it. I don't really have much else planned right now with the new simplification. Uh, Mainly due to how I need the time to work on my documentation. So I hope by the end of this week I'll have these problems fixed and a build made. That leaves me with 2 weeks to work on my documentation side of things. So I'll go ahead and I'll keep at it and I'll see if I can fix these problems. And once they are fixed, I'll update on them for the final build, in which I will also get some playtesters and such now that I've switched to a proportionate style ethics form. In terms of things I think I'm happy with this project is I think I have technically set out and beaten the goals that I made. I've learned Unreal. That was my original goal for this. Accessibility was more to do with the assignment, but learning VR in Unreal has been the key thing that I want to do. And I think I have successfully done so. Of course, it's not perfect. I'll need to improve it more and more until I get to a point where I'm a lot more comfortable with it. But it's not bad for a first time, even with the constant problems I've been facing. Um, I've run into a lot of problems during this development, and I wish that I'd cleaned my code a bit more. My blueprints are going to be very messy looking, and I hope that I have just a little bit more time to clean them up for submission. But that's like a last thing, really, just for the sake of making my blueprints look clean. Uh, and hopefully commented that out too. That's another one. Yeah. Because I've mainly been on the path of making sure that my mechanics work rather than making sure that my blueprint is the most effective thing in the world. I especially felt like that is because of it being in VR. When it came to my other projects, I often can naturally make it look semi clean while working on it. Um, Except with this case, I ran into so many things that I just felt I had to just rush through and get it all fixed. Again, though, I'll see if I can fix it before the build and we'll go from there.